Welcome to episode 479 of This Week in League. I'm Nate.
And I'm Jay.
And I'm Glenn.
How are you going, boys?
Great. You know why I'm great?
Big weekend.
Because I haven't got a fucking pool being installed in my backyard yet. Because that sounds like a cunt of a time.
Let me tell you,
I would like
the
to
amount of grass is fucked up as well.
I would like to apologise to all of our flood-affected listeners for those fucking insensitive comments. Nathan and I do not refer to flood damage as God installing a pool. Yeah.
Glenn is very proud of the pool that he installed in Lismore the other month.
Fuck's sake, put some goggles and a snorkel on, cunts. Make the most of it. Glass half empty, motherfuckers.
That's like the most aggressive dairy queening. It's like fucking extreme dairy queening or something.
Yes.
How you going, Glenn? Are you right?
I'm fine, thanks. Why are you
I was
asking?
saying you missed out on the weekend. You had that thing on the weekend, didn't that event? It didn't happen.
No, you're right. It didn't.
You missed out on your illegitimate joy too.
Well, congratulations to the Panthers on winning the Justin Pascoe Cup. I don't know why anyone would want to win that, but they did.
Again, I would like to apologise to the family of Roy Simmons for Glenn's cruel comments. It's actually the Roy Simmons, and was the inaugural Roy Simmons Cup that we won. So, obviously we respect our heroes over this side a little bit more than the Justin Pascoe Tigers.
Look, Royce is a fucking Penrith hero. I'm happy to give you that one, mate. Came to the Tigers for a fucking paycheck after the fact. Yesterday's fucking hero and all that, you know.
much like Dane Laurie,
yeah.
James Tamau,
Justin Pascoe,
beating down a long-established path, and soon to be joined by the likes of Appy Coruscant.
That's it, hey. Was Roy Simmons fucking patient?
Shane Ilford. Shane Ilford.
Oh, there we go. Fucking hell.
Paul Fedawira.
Oh my god.
Jeez.
Yeah, fuck, it's happened a bit, eh?
Wow.
God damn. Is there that whole nature abhors a vacuum? Is it every time you let a good player go, you get a shit one from Penrith?
Interesting theory.
Look, the timeline checks out just quickly. I mean, I've thought of it. I've given it a solid 8 seconds, just back through the years, and the math checks out.
Yeah, done. Confirmed.
And I'm sure that we could ratify it with even more solid.
E equals MC to the power of shit.
Look, I mean, there are news articles and things that I want to talk about, but we'll talk about those on Wednesday.
Plenty of news.
Yeah, well, this one we got the results. I mean, the good thing is there's some little things that are just sort of spilling out today. Let's hope there's more meat on them by Wednesday, as the rugby league gods tend to provide for us. So they got 48 hours to fucking throw a bit more meat on the bones to some of these stories that we want to talk about, and hopefully they'll be extra great.
Yes.
But round 18 is in the bag, and we kicked off on Friday night, the pub slot, with the Sharkies 26 defeating the Cowboys up there at the abattoir. Sharkies had a double to Jesse Ramian, Tig Wilton and Sione Katoa also with tries. Nico Hines 4 conversions and a penalty goal. Cowboys 12 came through tries to Kyle Felt and Hamiso Tabuai Fido, and Townsend 2 conversions.
I thought the Sharks were pretty good. Had a bit to contend with in this game, obviously. Playing away from home, pretty raucous Cowboys crowd, and in the running of the game, Blake Brayley was sin bin, so they had to bite down and make a real game of it, and they did. I think the Cowboys were pretty game despite the absence of some of their Origin players, and they'll take some lessons away from this one in preparation for their finals campaign. I think it's a blip on their radar, but I was pretty impressed with how the Sharks got the job done.
Yeah, especially to go into someone's house who was on such a roll and who had done so well previously over the Origin period. And let's not beat around the bush. Still a formidable team.
Absolutely.
Jason Tomilolo showed, when he scored that try, just how fucking damaging he still is. And I think
just the footwork from someone that size.
Yeah.
It's just like fucking.
Yeah. But you
defies physics.
If you so who would you put in his size class like elsewhere in the competition?
Papali'i.
You know,
Yep.
Papali'i,
Paulo.
Although, yeah.
No one goes 0 to fuck you.
Yeah.
As quick as he does. And
at that size,
with that explosion, it's absolutely unreal. From the Cowboys' point of view, there's not too much I'm worried about in that game. When your losses have come to the Premiers and probably one of the 2 or 3 informed teams at the moment who don't have any Origin stars. And weren't really disrupted at all by Origin, except for the fucking useless fat fuck that thought he was a winger. But
still burns.
Maybe Freddie was practicing.
Never to represent again, a Kai.
Fucking stamped a Kai. But yeah, the Sharks though, fuck, their halves are getting involved. They're running the ball. Moylan obviously doesn't have that pace and that fucking I'll stop on a dime and change direction on you, or stop start, I guess is probably more accurate that he used to. But he's starting to get a little bit of that crafty about him.
Yeah.
And just knows when to inject himself.
He's a smart footballer.
Yeah, 100%.
He always has been.
100%.
His body's let him down over the course of his career plenty of times, but he's got a smart football brain.
And that's it. I think he's now trying to do what his body's capable of, or trying to work within those bounds. But just the guts they've got in their edge forwards and outside backs. Fuck, they're a scary team come finals time. Scary team. Anyway. Nate, anything you want to add on that one?
No. Socials.
First one's a question. Said, how the fuck can you bust a line, then get an obstruction? Dumbest interpretation of a rule. That was in regards to that TWiL try, which was obviously called a no try. But what do you guys think of that, where there was an obstruction called for essentially a player coming from behind running into someone that was there as a support player?
I think it was Ueli. He milked it pretty well.
And that was milked. Support players always run their own line and position themselves the way they want to, and it's always kind of like the defender's responsibility to find a way around. Well,
this is the thing. What they pinged him for though was that he was coming up in support. Yeah, he overran Taumalolo, but then so technically he was in front of the ball.
Yeah, it's just
I think
it's one of those things, not in the spirit of the game, even if it's like 100% accurately. I mean, it's not, you know what I mean. It's just I don't know.
That's it.
Look, that was a killer for the Cowboys because that would have put them in front too. Yeah. So and potentially change the landscape of the game. So
I still think without the obstructing player, so to speak, I still think Taumalolo fucking crashes over and scores regardless. That's not something that the bunker can really adjudicate on, what ifs and maybes. But
imagine if that try, no try, and have you seen the size of that cunt? Troy, he said Cronulla in true false form mode have entrenched themselves in the top 4, but I guess we can only play the team in front of us. There you go, Sharks fans. Do you believe that? False form mode. Fuck.
Wow.
Mitch said Cows were decent despite having players out. However, it was good to see the Sharks play with a bit more cohesion. Yeah, definitely was. Super Grover, he said that was actually a decent win over a depleted side in his true Shark fan form. I heard he's given up his Storm membership and now he's just fully on the Sharks all the time. Carsten, he said, I take the bag of dicks, but the Sharks are the new Storm. The laying in the ruck was as terrible as the ref and that effing song Out of the Shire.
Yeah.
Funny about all the terrible,
wasn't it?
terrible things that you can mention about the Sharks. You forgot Scott Morrison, who is their number one fan, and always will be. And just quickly,
I'm so glad
He's
that
the
I'm
number
so glad
one
that the
fan, and it gets
NRL
worse from there.
I'm so glad that the NRL are just basically ignoring and just straight batting like Scott Morrison saying he wants to be on the fucking on the commission.
do you think that's because like A, he's a fucking weirdo Bible basher, or because he's a Sharks fan?
Oh, I think it's just because fuck him.
Take your pick.
Oh, he's irrelevant now. I mean, like he holds no political currency now. He's fucking Gonski.
That's it.
He's just a civilian.
And in his usual form, Sharky Dave
A
44.
civilian who takes shits at fucking McDonald's.
In his
He's essentially Super Grover now without the pension.
standard behaviour, Sharky Dave 44 on Twitter. He said the Cows tried their best, but in the end, their best was pathetic. Easy dub. There you go.
Oh, I like it.
Love it.
The Eels 28 defeat the Warriors 18 in the Friday late game. The Eels 28 tries through a double to Wanga Blake, Isaiah Papali'i, Gutherson, Sivo tries, Moses 4 conversions from 5. Warriors, their 18 came through tries to Montoya, Cozy and Murchie, and Sean Johnson 3 of 3 conversions.
Yeah, the Warriors following on from some of their recent performances, they played with plenty of heart and
Yeah, like last week it was
game.
a bounce. Yeah. I mean, it was a bounce. It was the same as last week. I thought. I mean, the difference is probably the quality of the opposition. Really,
I'd agree.
I mean, particularly not the whole game. I mean, they did fall away a little bit there, but I mean, first half, let's say,
Yep.
they were fucking right in it.
I think what did them in was maybe it was a bit of over enthusiasm, but it displayed as ill discipline, which gifted Para a bunch of 6 agains, and Para got on the front foot and then were allowed to hit the accelerator due to the additional possession from the 6 agains, and Brown and Moses with plenty of ball, they did their thing, and I think for Para, Micah Sivo, he's obviously only recently come back from a long layoff with injury, and he had a couple of big moments in this game, scored a great try down the sideline and took an intercept and sent Wanga Blake away for a try, and he's a player that can make a real impact for Para, not only with his bringing the ball back, but his finishing as well come finals time. I think it's really important to see him find a few moments of form as he comes back from injury. So I think it's a strong sign for Para.
Yeah, that's it. Johnson's still frustrating.
Yeah,
He was still like pretty. I think it was one of his better games. I mean, that's probably not saying much, but this was one of his better games.
It was
like, as well, for the Warriors.
It was, but you've got a team of guys who, exactly like Glenn said, didn't have the nous around them to go, oh, fuck, okay, we can't do this with this ref. This ref is adjudicating the ruck this way. So as a group, we need to fucking pull back, do something different. What are we going to try here? Like when refs are fucking sloppy on the 6 agains, or giving them away for anything, you see teams drop down to one marker. Well, okay, so fuck. Yeah. There's going to be some 6 agains, so let's go one marker and cover the space in behind the play the ball, whatever the fuck it is for a limited period of time. But when they needed someone to calm them down and just turn it into a grind, because if there's one thing I'm not sure Parramatta's up for, it's a grind. But
it feels like the defence isn't good enough for a grind this year.
Yeah.
Para love being on the front foot, and if you get them on the back foot, they struggle
and
to turn it around.
In the spirit of fairness, who doesn't? What teams can't get out to a 12, 14 point lead and go, fuck yeah, we're away.
But some teams, some of the teams that Parramatta is going to have to beat if they've got a serious tilt on being there at the end of the season, have the Penriths, the Melbournes, they have the ability to absorb it and then work, as you say, get into that grind and turn that around, and quite often run away at the back end of the game.
Yeah, spot on. What do we have on that one?
Reid Marnie was awesome in this game as well. Best game he's had in a little while.
Yeah, he is.
Agree.
He was crap. He was crap last week, but this week, he was probably man of the match this one.
He fucking plays so far above his weight in defence.
He does.
I fucking love it. Stephen, Facebook group. Oh, this is my favourite part of the game. How to forget that? Gutho getting absolutely axed by a winger. You hate to see it.
Yeah.
That was a fucking
Well,
shot
he
and a
got
half.
hitting the balls that hard he fucking threw up or what?
No, it wasn't the ball. It was the chest.
It wasn't the balls though. It was just
chest.
a big
I
hit.
thought he copped
got
him.
he's got winded. He's copped it. He just
Yeah,
copped it in the
okay.
chest and the ribs,
Yeah.
and he was down and he was just struggling for 2 minutes, and then right at the end of it, and the camera's just like, oh, they're just focused on him because there's a trainer with him, and they're like, oh, what's going to happen? And then he's just fucking blur.
James, equally frustrated. He said Johnson is done with league. I can't remember watching an NRL player this far gone.
Yeah, he's been worse.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he really is.
Yeah,
I would but maybe it's me being Dairy Queen, but I look at that as like, this is an improved game for him, like the last 2 weeks really. So
he's played worse games this year.
yeah,
I'm
not saying he's back by any.
But I'm just saying, like,
imagination.
just in the context of, did you have a good game or did you have a poor game?
Yeah.
If you are a half and you have been a half for the entirety of your career, and that career is years and years and years and years and years, your fifth tackle options shouldn't be poor more often than they're not. That's all I'm saying.
That's a fair assessment.
That's my frustration. I'm not saying he doesn't try.
I'm not sure what that percentage is. I feel like it should be somewhere around 75% of the time you get it right.
I was going to say 80.
Yeah, okay.
Even if it doesn't come off. I'm not even saying it has to come off, but if it was, Grubber in goal was the play there. Did it.
Yep.
Might have got it too hard and fucking Jack Whitened it.
Mm.
But, low 80% of the times, if you half for that long, it should be, I don't know. But Rishi said, not that it matters, but I think the bunker just missed an accidental offside in the Gutho try. I didn't see that at all.
Me either.
I need to go back and watch it again.
That's it. Para Eels Facts on Twitter. So the Warriors were massive in defence for the first 50, then ran out of puff, which allowed the Eels to capitalise. Not a inaccurate assessment. There we are.
That's it.
That's it.
Okay, the Roosters 54 defeated the Dragons 26, thus eliminating them from grand final contention. The Roosters 54 came through tries to Radley, Walker, Watson, Suali, Momirovski, a double to Joey Manu and a double to Teddy. Walker 8 conversions and a penalty goal. The Dragons 26 tries to Ben Hunt, Zach Lomax, Finai, Ramsey, 4 conversions of Lomax, a penalty goal to Lomax. The Dragons stuff, it's crazy the way that the last 15, 20 minutes went in this game, because the Dragons were, they were narrowly in front at half time. They were in the game, for 60 minutes. And then the Roosters scored, something like 42 points in the second half.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the second half. It was like most of it was late in the second half, last 15 minutes, to absolutely fucking bury them and turn what was looking like a battle and like a promising sort of entertaining game into an absolute fucking drubbing.
I still think it was pretty entertaining. Some of the tries that were scored were impressive, but the Roosters, they snapped their losing streak and as you say, Nate, finished the game strongly with, off the back of some of their big names making their mark on the contest. But I think for all the names that the Roosters have in their side, with some of the young talent with big raps on them and all the rest of it, Joey Manu might be their most important player currently.
He's really emerged this year. Don't get me wrong, he's been very good for his entire run. However, last year when they needed it, and this year particularly, it's like he's grown. He's taken another step up as a player.
Yeah, I
and
agree.
I know they're putting him in positions this year through necessity, through Origin especially. He's been deputising in positions where they need the depth, like the fullback and in the halves. But fuck me, he's good.
Just a footballer. He's just around the ball and he's in the right place and makes the right play. In contrast to someone like Sean Johnson, he's in the game and he's making the right decisions in the big moments.
The thing is, he's trying to score like every possible half opportunity he sees. He tries to take it,
without hesitation.
Yeah, he got one barge over try. I think he was held up for another barge over try as well, just bolting into dummy half when he saw it was on. And that fucking try he scored was one of the greatest. Look, the way I want to look at it is that he felt that he had like a cramp coming on in his calf or something, or his hamstring, and then he saw the gap open up and thought, "Fuck, I'm going to fight through it. I'm just going to fucking bolt through it," and he ultimately, generating a try.
Yeah.
I don't think it was like, I'm going to fake injury to stop play. And I think he felt it coming on and just like, fuck it, it's on, and just put it, because he went off straight after pretty much. I mean, he did leave the field. So I don't think it was like he was faking it or anything. But even if he was, you know what? Fucking more power to you, man. That shit's brilliant. And I fucking love it, because you know what? What's the first thing they teach little kids in under sevens and shit?
Play the fucking whistle.
Play to the fucking whistle. Like, so, look, he taught them all a lesson. I mean, it wasn't just a great performance on the field. It wasn't a game of rugby league. It was also a clinic for them.
It was an education.
It was education for the young Dragons.
I was trying to
learn something.
I was trying to think when I'd last seen a player like in that Manu vein. Like, Latrell's obviously probably the most damaging offensive threat in the game at the moment, but Manu, he's just something else. Like, he's got all the pace and agility of the best fullbacks you've seen, mixed with the footy brain and the guts of any great running six. He's a fucking monster. So, anything else you guys want to add on that one?
The only other point I wanted to make was, this is yet another game that everything good the Dragons did come via Ben Hunt.
Yeah.
Yep.
40-20, scored an individual try. Fucking just like...
Yeah. And another Dragons game where the local, in this case, Central Coast of Gosford escort scene would have had people like crying into the porridge, fucking trying to eat him out after the game. Crying in the porridge.
Jesus.
Jot it down.
Right.
Is that? Do you reckon Eric Clapton ever considered the version called Tears in Porridge?
Tears in the porridge.
Oh, what about that other guy, that crying in the chapel song? That crying in the chapel song.
Is my mom my dad when I cried in the porridge? Dragons lost and I'm sad. So I cry in some porridge.
Oh, that is funnier than a fucking toddler falling out of a fucking apartment block window.
Which we all know is the funniest fucking thing in the world.
Oh, yeah, I think I saw it on Fail Army. All right. Socials.
Hang on.
Mush. Let's go.
Before we get cancelled.
Fuck him. He's an anti-vaxxer anyway. Fucking Eric Clapton. The motherfucker, he's already...
This isn't live.
He can't say shit.
We can't get cancelled. We can't get cancelled now. We can get cancelled,
Later.
Later.
After we've had our fun, we can be cancelled.
Jesus Christ.
Frankly, if more fucking hairy-legged white women listened to this podcast, we would have been cancelled a long time ago.
Well, look, yeah, we're safe. I don't think it's now the LGBTQA Claptons. Okay. Ash. He said, I saw the ref's arms go up for 10 in the bin and momentarily panicked before I realised it was Woods. That's a net gain for the Dragons for 10 minutes. And in a similar vein, Brendan said, surely having Woods sent for 10 minutes disadvantages the Roosters. The penalty should have been not allowed to sub him for the rest of the game. Lando said, Joey Mano is hands down the best player in the comp. Well and truly the difference today. I don't like what he's done to us today, but you really have to admire the way he's done it. Kevin said, imagine how good Manu would be if he played consistently. He's still a good player, but he definitely has a habit of floating out of games. Maybe it really is time to move him out of the centres and into a 6 or a 1. Whether that's at the Roosters or elsewhere, I feel like they could really elevate his career to the next level. And JDHD 44, with all the salt, He said the next time Joey Manu is actually injured, the opposition team will fuck his shit up because they can't take the chance that he's faking again. Also, fuck the Dragons. That comes from a Dragons.
Yeah. Next time he's injured, fuck his shit up. Well, since when? I mean, like people never fuck a guy's shit up when he's grabs his hamstring or something like that. They just sort of go up and smother him. Yeah. And give him a cuddle without any force to it.
That's it.
And then he's called held because the guy's not fighting out of it because he's fucked his hamstring or whatever.
Yeah.
And so fine, do that.
And he's
as opposed to standing there and watching the cunt run past you.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
That is for socials.
Might I suggest some teas in porridge for you?
Exactly.
Have we just replaced the Mars bar?
Oh, fucking hell. Shit's getting messy in Dragon's bedrooms.
Look, the Mars bar's more sanitary, let me just say.
I don't know.
You'd have to have a funnel arrangement to get the porridge in there.
Well, actually...
you failed biology.
Glenn, we're talking about someone who would have previously used nature's funnel.
Oh, it's delightful.
And I'll tell you what, if you pick the right one, you might get a Mars bar porridge double.
Stop it.
Oh, sensational.
Glenn looks legitimately excited.
He thinks we're really talking about Uncle Toby's.
We're not literally talking about the things... Well, we are literally talking about the Mars bar. But...
Yeah, that's true.
Might skip the breakfast tomorrow.
Yeah, bullshit. You'll be you chopping up a Mars bar and
maybe I'll have
your porridge.
2 times as much.
Right. The mighty Manly Seagulls 42 defeat the Newcastle Knights 12 at Brookie. The Manly side tries double to Jason Saab. Kohler, Olaquatu, Davey, Christian Tuipulotu and Lachlan Croker with tries. Daly with 5 conversions. Ruben with 1 and a penalty goal to Daly as well. The Knights 12 came through tries to Adam Clune and Callum Ponga. And Ponga 2 conversions from 2 attempts. This was almost a flawless victory. I fucking can't complain. I mean, usually I've got some things that I'm very critical about. In this case, the only thing I'm critical about is when a team makes a break down the outside, and then if they run out of space, they're going to get tackled and they kick it in and they kick it into the center towards the posts.
Yep.
They don't. The guys don't fucking chase. They don't chase back hard enough to fucking defuse that.
Such
sort of
an
situation.
underrated play, hey. If you can pull it off.
Yeah, they. I mean, because they're just obviously just pouring troops to cut the sideline off, and there's some lazy cunts in the middle that just aren't like. Everyone's got to get on their bike in case, because like it's such a. I mean, if you've got a winger who can kick off their right foot if they're going down the right hand side and vice versa, and do it accurately and long enough with the right weight and into the middle, it's a fucking great. I mean, like Manly have scored enough tries off it themselves, but I mean, the fact they didn't mop that up is the only thing that I'm critical for the whole game, because otherwise, like all the Origin players, like on both sides, I think. I mean, Callum Ponga, he brought his attacking confidence that he displayed in Origin. I mean, that was evident in this game as well. I mean, he's definitely. Like that third Origin game was great for him. Well, the Origin series was great for him.
That's it.
He's finally realising that involvement yields benefits.
He also had a couple of solid one-on-one efforts to stop.
Like last line,
it didn't impact the result, but the fact that he made those tackles with confidence without hesitation, I thought there was a stark contrast to some of his efforts. Not only early in this season, but he was also
leaping for contested balls and stuff as well.
Yeah.
And I mean, and we weren't quite putting it right in a space where we had like a Jason Saab who was in his face, ready to snatch it away. But I mean, there was a couple of them that were fairly closely contested, and he jumped up and he took them, or he went for them without mistake. So I really can't fault that. And I mean, on the Manly side, I mean, Daly was absolute fucking masterclass. One of the best games that I've seen him play. The kicking game from Origin carried straight through again. He had to take over conversions because Garrick is clearly playing injured at the moment, and he's nailing them from the fucking sideline. And I mean, some of the honestly, there's two of the tries they scored are some of the best fucking tries I've seen scored at rookie. That one that where they were down the left hand side, where Daly just sort of shot out a dummy half and then passed out to four and then back to Daly and then the no look pass to Saab to score was just fucking amazing. Like, and I'm here for it. I mean, if Foz wants to backflip and fucking generate some more of that shit, then I'm here until the wheels fall off that guy. Hamoli again was pretty good. Not. I mean, like his stat line's incredible, and scored a try again. But I would still like to see that guy get a run up more often. I mean, he seems to be at the moment he's just relying on sheer athleticism and kind of getting the ball standing start, palming the first guy off, and then starting to roll forward and carry guys forward with him, which is great because it works. But he's going to trample guys if he gets a 10-meter run up. Then he's going to be unstoppable. Cole is he's broken out now. The player that he was supposed to be. I mean, the way he made, like, who was it, TWiL, that he's made him look fucking stupid with that try, just with his footwork. I mean, there was nothing on there. They were numbered up and, from 10 metres out, and he just put a little swerve on and some footwork and just beat him hands down and gone over untouched. And Jason Saab, pleasing to see the 2 tries, but the most pleasing thing was he was targeted relentlessly by the Knights and he didn't make a single mistake. He made about fucking 4 line breaks, no missed tackles, no errors.
Yeah, here's the thing though, like Saab's not an error machine. That's not why he gets targeted.
Well, he made 8 errors in the game against the Cowboys, which was probably the deciding factor in that game.
No, but overall, it's the fact that teams bombed him and smashed him. And that was the combo to not only shut him down, but also Manly relied a lot on his go forward in that first tackle to reduce how far the rest of the team had to run back. And that was in that game that Penrith played them at, that they set the blueprint for that. And unfortunately for Manly, every other team copied it. Newcastle did the bombing bit, but didn't do the smashing bit.
Well, that's the other thing as well. I mean, and this is why. Look, there are people in my DMs and stuff going like, "Oh, fucking Des will never do this and Des will never." Listen, you got to fucking trust Desi. He's got a plan, and I mean, the guy knows how to fucking give players confidence and work players through fucking problems that they have. Now that Harper's made his return,
may I ask?
Like, he is fucking. Sorry, yes.
May I ask? Do these people not know you? Like, have they just seen your Manly thing on Twitter and decided to DM you? How the fuck are people that have ever had anything to do with you gonna fucking say anything negative about Des, even in a fucking DM?
These are Manly supporters, I'll say, and they just.
That's interesting. They sound like fuckheads.
They lose faith too, and I say, listen. He fucking obviously, like, this is a guy who knows how to like show confidence and faith in players that then they repay because he doesn't fucking destroy them mentally like someone like Hook does when he brings guys up, drops them down, brings them up, drops them down every fucking other week. But
like, seriously, how are these dumb fucks expecting to go through their entire life now and not, on the day that their fucking child is born, have you pop out of the bushes and fucking just run a fucking barber's knife across their throat and just shh, not fit to be a parent. Shh, trust Desi. Shh. Desi will father your children. Shh. Fuck me.
He's fathered all of the children. I mean, like yours,
we all descend from Desi.
You see his hair. I mean, yeah, that guy clearly fucks. Now, but the thing, back to the point though. Yeah, I know. But back to the point, like we've seen Morgan Harper, and it sounds like a negative for me to say this, but it's like I don't recall. He didn't jump out at me at all in this game, which means he didn't do anything. He did everything, his job, basically, and he didn't fucking miss anything, fuck up, anything like that. And Saab, the thing that he had to do was he had to improve his carries, and you see now in this game particularly, he was actually making yardage off his returns, and he was getting down low, and he wasn't getting himself caught in the position where he was, bolt upright under a tsunami of fucking opposition jerseys, overwhelming him. So it just goes to show that, some of these things take a little while to get, to get turned around. But I mean, obviously there's a plan for these players that have things they need to fix. And then, sometimes it takes time for them to fix them, but we're starting to see the benefits of that. had mates that were there at the ground, and they're saying like Garrick is like clearly like fucking he's on one leg basically, but you wouldn't fucking know it apart from the fact that he wasn't kicking for goal. From the way he played, I mean, he was kamikazing himself into the defensive line the way that Tommy would do. When there was a break to be made, I mean, he would make it. He would be there to back up. So I love the way that guy's digging in and living for the jersey. And Josh Alloy again, fucking amazing. I mean, taken from being essentially the landscaper at the fucking West Tigers to a first grade rugby league prop, and he's just unbelievable.
Was that the time they got James Tamau?
It was.
They made way for Tamau with
the same
him.
year.
Yeah, didn't they?
I don't know. I don't think they were a coordinated thing that was one had to happen to be the other, but they happened at the same time.
But just going back to that theory, that every time the Tigers offload a player that goes somewhere else and does well,
correct,
they get a fucking shit has-been from Penrith.
This shit is fucking scientific now.
Yeah,
I'm prepared. I'm prepared to put a peer-reviewed.
Well,
paper
I
in here.
consider you a peer, and I feel we've just reviewed it.
And the Knights, I mean, the Knights were in this game to like probably the 55th minute, and the scoreline ended up the way it did prove that, even with Braille, this was the first time that they got their spine together this season. So you expected, and certainly the way they got into the arm wrestling in the first half, thought they definitely looked better, and they were super competitive and dangerous. But fuck again, like what 55, 60 minutes in, just fell away, and so went the Avalanche.
It seems to be the difference between this year and last year. Like last year, the good teams would go out there and just obliterate anyone that wasn't on their level. This year, the teams are adjusting. They've adjusted to the new play style. They're adjusting to how the game's being officiated, and they're in for longer. I still think a lot of it's fitness related, and be that the actual fitness level of the players, or be that how the coaches choose to make their rotations or play the style of game.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely. And to your point, if it's the first time they've had their spine together this year, or one of the only times, not a bad fucking way to run into the finals, but I think might be a little bit too far gone for the Knights. Yep. You want anything else on that one, Glennie?
No, not a great deal. I think you guys have covered it, but I just want to reiterate the efforts of both Jake and DCE backing up. They were fucking outstanding. A player from both sides of the result from the previous Wednesday night, and they come out and they both play their guts out for their club, and not that people would expect anything different from them, but the performance they had were fucking amazing.
Yeah.
And there was no late points scored by Newcastle after Daly and Jake were both taken off with 5 or 6 minutes left to go. And did you see Jake after the try they scored? It must have been, I think it was probably the last try that Manly scored, and he was just fucking unloading on everyone. And like the gist of it would have been like, no more fucking tries scored in the last 5 minutes, cunts. And then he went off and he was obviously, it was really nice. It was really
nice. Lynn, she said the jersey can stay. There you go, tick of approval.
First non-cursed, gimmick jersey of the year.
Daniel said the Knights can get in the Tasman Sea and keep walking east. Fuck those pathetic cunts. I think I'm done, hey. This is worse than the Spoon years. At least we had an excuse then. Well, I'll tell you what, again...
We've been giving you an excuse all year. I mean, just take this Callum Ponga's getting too much of the pie narrative.
Yeah, fucking hell. Well, and like...
We'll license it out for use.
Injuries are fucking not been kind to the Knights.
Well, Brayley the whole season's gone. You had Clifford fell off a cliff.
Yeah.
Clune's going okay, but remember he had that injury not that long ago either. Milford's getting better as he's been allowed to play league again. I mean, he's been building week on week. He wasn't great. He was almost unsighted in this game, to be honest.
Yes.
But yeah.
Ryan, you said Gagai's origin performance clearly shows that even dead cats bounce a little bit. On another note, I may need to see professional about my pants after my reaction to seeing Manly score all of those tries in the second half. And JW on Twitter. Surprised we're winning games like this without Tom. DCE put on another kicking clinic tonight. And this is that thing. Like, say what you want about DCE, and I fucking will. He's an absolute pox on humanity.
Legend of the game.
Pox on humanity.
Greatest Queensland halfback in Origin history as well. Just quietly. Done more with far less.
Right now, you sound like a man trying to have his opinion on abortion laws. But
here we go.
He does what a 7 is supposed to do. He controls the tempo of the game. He thinks about the set in attack, but also where will be most advantageous to start the next set in defence.
He kicks like Robert Louis after a fucking case of cruisers.
So, you don't need... You don't need every halfback to be Andrew Johns. They just need to do like those basic things right. Anyway, next game.
The Broncos 16 defeated the Titans 12 down at Hope Solo Coliseum. And the Broncos 16 came through tries to Hoyter, Reynolds and Pereira. Adam Reynolds 2 conversions. The Titans 12 came through tries to Boyd and Jolliffe, with Toby Sexton 2 of 2 conversions.
After playing just enough like they want to get their coach sacked, the Titans played in this game in large part like they want their coach to stay.
This was an enjoyable derby, I thought. I had no expectation. I thought the Titans were going to get absolutely fucking blasted.
Maybe they want their coach to get a second job or work from home or something. They don't want him to get sacked.
Maybe they wanted to get rid of Dimmick, and now they've achieved that. They're trying to put in a little bit.
Maybe. Yeah. Pretty tightly contested game. I think it was a bit ugly for the Broncos, but they've shown this season that they can play much better than they did, but they still got the win. And I think in the context of their finals race, I think it could be a big win. And one of those ones, if they hadn't have got the 2 points here, it could have come back and bitten them come the end of round 26. So the Titans were much improved, but the Broncos scrapped it out with them and got away with the win.
Yeah, they fucking did, didn't they?
It was quite exciting in the last sort of 5 minutes or 10 minutes when the Titans were like rolling down the field fairly easily, but they just couldn't find that little bit extra they needed to get the points to get ahead and win the game.
What I would like to know if I was a Titans fan is who the fuck is running shit on the field for the Titans? Like, who are the voices that are being heard? Who are the voices that are speaking up? Because exactly as you've just said there, Nate, no one had a solid plan. Like, they were gaping the Broncos in the middle third of the field, and there were just meters to be had. And then when the Broncos compacted, there were meters around them. But
and also there was an absolute surplus of cowardice from fucking one D for feeder in the crucial moments in this game as well.
This is my thing. You see the great combinations or the great players or whoever they are, they'll try the same play over and over and over and over and over and over. So if the Broncos are fucking starting to put gaps in, then for that last 5 minutes, almost everything we're doing is creating space out and then putting it back in to have either Fafita as a decoy, or if there's a hole there, to go straight through them with another 3 guys on his outside for support.
I think to follow on... Sorry, finish.
No, well, I was going to say, you run that play, once a set, maybe fucking twice a set if you're feeling ballsy. And if you have 3 or 4 sets, what's the likelihood that comes off? But who's out there? If Fafita's not going looking for the ball, who's out there saying, this is where they're weak, this is where we're going?
To follow on from that, I think it comes down to the inexperienced halves, which we've brought up multiple times this season. Because if Fafita had a DCE or even a Cleary, I know Cleary's young, but he's obviously has great leadership qualities, or a Adam Reynolds, for example, someone, when it's clear that he's out of the game, it's clear that he's not a part of the group of players that are going to influence the result, and he's got as much skill and ability as anyone else on that field to make his mark on a game, he needs his halfback or his leaders in that team to essentially grab him by the fucking ear and drag him into the game.
Yeah.
And there's no one there doing that. And unfortunately, I think they've made Tino captain, and I don't hate that as a decision, but he's still a young forward, and I just don't know that he's going to have the stones to drag Fafita into a game. They need it's just, and I think the guy that may have, and we've said it before, is probably Fogarty. He probably would have been the guy that would have had the stones to say, "You fucking ass in this game. We need you.
Yeah,
we need you. Let's do this." As you say, create a play, come up with a plan, and then bring the guy that has the skill and ability to fucking be dominant into the contest.
Now, who knows? Who knows if that's because they don't have those plays, or there's not a cohesive playbook that everyone runs off. I'd find that very surprising if that's the case. But
even at an absolute base level, someone kicking him in the balls and saying, "Fucking have 3 hit-ups this set."
Yeah.
Just because you're fucking massive and you run the ball like a fucking steam train. Just
Exactly.
try and... Because then that might lift the other blokes.
Yeah.
And see what comes off the back of it.
Yeah. Can you imagine, like, the style of forward football that Penrith play, where you get Fisher Harris, Moses Leota, Bill Kikau, like just rumbling, and they all just run straight at you, and they find their fronts, and of their own accord, and they're up quickly to play the ball, like almost before you fucking had a chance to actually tackle them. Can you imagine that with Fafita, Tino, like that fucking forward pack rumbling at you?
Fodawaker. Those
Jesus. Fucking hell. Anyway.
And part of the problem is they don't have a hooker, and
true.
the basic building blocks of just getting guys on the front foot, through the middle.
Yeah.
Also, shout out to the Broncos, Zach Hosking. He was fucking deadly over there on the left hand.
Wasn't he
edge.
just? Yeah.
He had that one try, call back through, from a double movement. I mean, he busted through and was cut down short, a number of times. And shout out to the Mule as well, his old man, first Manly player I ever met.
There you go.
Had a beer with him at the Leasy after my first game that I went to Brookie.
Yeah.
And send your son back home, mate. I think Mule moved up to Newcastle, post career, and I think Zach started his footy, around Newcastle area. So it wasn't like he was ever, one of ours as a junior or anything. But he looks like he's a good one though. Send him down.
Yeah, fuck yeah, all good. Socials on that one. Ben, it's a game on the line, 5 minutes to go. Fafita doesn't take or look for a hit up over the rest of the game. If he's not the most overpaid player in the league, I'll give it away. Richard said the Titans really tried hard, but you got the feeling the Broncos were in cruise mode for much of the game. The Broncos threw a pass 4 metres forward in the lead up to their first try, and that sort of thing summed up the Titans' night. Shitload of effort, but a mixture of Broncos class and pure Titans bad luck meant there was only ever going to be one result. Cameron said last year Broncos lose this by 12. Ugly win, but then again the Titans always seem to go up a notch when they play us. Back under the stairs you go, degenerate little brother. Fuck yeah. And Hammers on Twitter. He said that was a really good game until it wasn't.
The Panthers 18 defeated the Tigers 16 at Combank Stadium. The Panthers' tries came through Tungo, Kikau, and Fisher Harris. Falls with 2 conversions. O'Sullivan got 1. Tigers side tries to Tupou, Dewey, and Mamalo. 2 of 3 conversions to Adam Dewey. Glennie, explain yourself.
Did you go through the Panthers point scorers?
I did.
Oh, sorry.
I go through the winning team scorers first.
Oh, I'm not used to Panthers games. I only have 3 tries. Normally takes longer. I can get the socials up.
Look, I think the story of this game was the Tigers tried to drag Penrith down to their level, certainly in the second half. But it came a point in the second half where Penrith remembered who they were, and the Tigers decided that they were just going to drag themselves to a new low.
It was really just that one tackle, though, just that gaping hole that was left there right near the post.
For Fisher Harris.
Yeah, for Fisher. I mean, like, it wasn't like it was some sort of incredible fucking set where they spread it from side to side and went end to end. I mean, it was pretty. Like, it's what you fucking expect to happen when you're defending on your goal line. You're going to expect like at least one kind of crash play.
Yeah.
You don't leave like a 3-man fucking hole there for it.
Oh, the meanest cunt on the field standing right behind the play of the ball, spread out.
Everybody, stay away from him. Look, I think for the Tigers, clearly there's a chasm between the two clubs and their systems and structures, regardless of who's on the field and who's not. There was still multiple internationals and guys that play very well within those systems and structures that Penrith do so well, and the Tigers don't have those. And they also don't have talent, unfortunately. No, that's probably a little harsh. I can say categorically that the Dewey, Brooks, Hastings experiment, I don't like it at this very early stage. I'm prepared to give it more time, but
I thought it looked okay at the start. I thought it looked okay in like the first 20 minutes.
Yeah, I just feel like I don't want to be another one of these guys kicking Brooks, but he looks like the fucking odd man out.
Can I just say something to you, Glennie? Just let me interject. I don't know if you listened to our episodes at all, but last week you went on an absolute fucking tirade against Luke Brooks, calling him all sorts of F and C's and this and that and get him out of the club, etc. And so much so that I put hit him up underneath it. And it was one of the great moments of the show. The kids loved it.
God, I wish I had that to play now. Like, just to play now.
Just to play it now.
For Glennie.
No, he just does.
I even put a little bit in there when you didn't know what the song was as well.
He does seem like the scapegoat, but
yeah,
but
again.
Look,
you fucking
I'm not
put
saying it wasn't
put the little bell around his. You put the bell around his neck and everything last week. That you were talking about fucking scapegoats. Jesus Christ!
And it was deserved last week.
Fuck
Dewey,
me, Glennie.
I think Dewey.
Like that Eric Andre thing where he's like, where Glennie, the first frame, Glennie's kicking fucking Luke Brooks to death, and then the second frame, he's like, why would someone do this? Who would do such a thing?
Look, you've convinced me. Fucking Luke Brooks, fuck him. Hastings was at points a fish out of water. I saw someone say he's not quick enough to be a 7, and I think there's some merit to that. I think he's certainly a bigger body, and probably, he is suited to lock, but he doesn't get the touches, and we all know it's all about the touches.
Yes.
What were your thoughts, Jay?
Look, I know you've just, been very gracious in defeat and gone on about, how the Tigers didn't have the systems or this or the culture or whatever.
And they don't.
They don't, but I think you may be trying to actually avoid and downplay just how fucking bad and embarrassing of a moment this was for your pathetic shit cunt club and all of its fucking bottom crawling fans.
Hey,
it was embarrassing. It was embarrassing. It was legitimately embarrassing for both clubs, except Penrith got 2 points out of the fair.
Well, exactly. Here's the thing though. I urge you to go to any fucking professional sporting team in the world, right, and say, we want over 50% of your starting squad to fuck off.
To Bali.
Yeah. Literally leave the country and still have them win playing in their regular competition. This is the fucking lowest point in the history of your club, and that includes before the merge, when the club was both the Magpies and the fucking Balmain Tigers.
Now, listen here.
We have fucking inflicted
You've said
on you
some fucking outrageously fucking ignorant and stupid, downright fucking stupid things on this show over the years.
This was so bad.
That has rocketed to the top of the fucking charts.
This was so bad, it actually caused Benny Elias to go full 360 on the tartar meter and have a moment of clarity. That's how fucking bad this was.
That is...
Look, there was that first 20, 25 minutes of the second half that probably is what most people will take out of this game, where it was just fucking, we'll drop it, you'll drop it, we'll drop it, you'll drop it. But apart from that, I was very impressed that Penrith just stick to exactly as you alluded to, Glennie, the systems and the game plan, because it works. Now, obviously, you've got a bunch of new people in there, so, they got to hit their mark and they got to understand exactly where they've got to be in relation to not only everybody else, but also to the defence for plays to work properly. But it was positive signs for continuity. There are some players in there that are going to be really, really hard to replace. Like Api, when he goes next year, he is going to be very, very hard to replace. Isaiah Yeo, when he leaves, he will be very, very impossible.
When he leaves, as in he's going to retire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But overall, I think in terms of how the structures are and how they're trying to future-proof that club, that's the best thing for me. And fucking fitting for the Fish to win it in his fucking milestone game. That was a special one as well. Because like we were talking of before the show, he fucking legitimately scares me. And I'm glad. Like, there is less chance of me just being murdered by him now because he had a moment of happiness. And I'm not saying that he would potentially target me. It's just that every human on Earth is at risk. But I'm his annoying cunt.
Oh, fuck, you can use that excuse for plenty of people. Yes.
Can I tell you, Em was in a bit of a funk on the weekend, and I flat out told her that I'm going to annoy her out of it. So it works for me.
Job's done.
She either gets out of the funk or she murders me, and I don't have to put up with the shit anymore. So
win-win.
She puts up with far more than she should. Stephen said Ken Mamalo proving he can actually jump at least 20 to 25 Siggy papers high with that try.
I think he may have set a new personal best with that one, to be honest.
That's it.
That was actually legitimately good.
Fucking the good old tally ho. Tim McIntyre said the Tigers would have won if they had their origin stars. That's funny because you don't have any.
We've already been over this, mate.
And even if you'd have gotten back all the origin players you'd ever had in history, you still would have lost. The 2005 grand final team would have lost.
Oh, hang on a sec. That is, again, it's like you're trying to break one of your own personal fucking records. Jesus Christ.
Devon Head said, how trash must you be to not be able to beat a side missing their 7 best players, especially when you yourself are full strength? That is so fucking true, sir. Ben said, when Nathan Cleary is sunning himself in Bali, Sean O'Sullivan is the best halfback in the comp. Come at me. Like, well, I won't come at you, sir, because you speak truth, and I support the truth. I don't knock it down. Matt said, Dylan Edwards with a solid 244 run metres. In our collective opinion, how much further can he push his game? Could the young fella ever see the inside of an Origin shed?
No.
No.
Only in a Gutho capacity.
Yeah, like he could probably, like, I'd be happy for him to be like the Gutho, like get around the boys and everything, and
it's probably about
you might
his
see him in
ceiling.
the back of the shot or something. Yeah, there's just like, I mean, it's a congested. I mean, like, assuming that fucking Pappenhausen doesn't have to retire from being an absolute fucking epitome soft shell crab. There's still like there's a lot of traffic ahead.
Before I forget, I need a petition before the court.
Sure.
To change his name by TWiL to Ryan Pappen Reynolds. It's a fucking freakish time in history for fullbacks. Absolutely
Yeah.
freakish time. And look, you look elsewhere in history, and you're like, oh yeah, there was that time where we had, like there was Slater and Minnie at the same time, and then that was like the tail end of the General at Canterbury, and
Oh, and you had all those times there. It was like around like sort of Tuvey, Ricky Stewart, sort of around the same sort of era, and like where he played some Origin games, and someone else would play some Origin games.
Yeah,
Then you had
that's
Johns
it.
and Kamali going. Like there have been times where we've been stacked with, like Queensland, like in that Origin period that you were talking about. I mean, they were shuffling around the positioning of guys like Thurston and Cronk, to accommodate.
Yeah, exactly. So,
more than one in the team at once. So, like New South Wales do with Latrell and Turbo and Teddy and stuff as well.
And he again, we've spoken about this so many fucking times. It's probably that your best choices at fullback only don't get to play fullback because they're a better centre than Tedesco is.
Yeah, that's right.
So I think Edwards suffers from that. I don't think he's a centre. Like he can play. Fucking anyone can play except fucking Fatakai can't play on.
I mean, you could probably chuck him. I think you could probably chuck him on the wing, but again, we're fucking stacked there too.
Exactly. Well, I'll tell you, maybe he would have caught that ball that Tupou didn't.
Yeah.
Or at least known
so
to
would a Fox.
Let it bounce. Yeah.
So would a Fox, you'd imagine,
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, so there it is. Next game.
Okay, the Storm. Sorry, the Raiders 20 defeated the Storm 16 down at the Korean House Life. Oh, again. The Raiders tries through a double to James Schiller. Sebastian Krish with a try. Fogarty, 3 conversions and a penalty goal, defeating the Storm 16. Tries to Meaney, Hughes and Grant with 1 conversion to Meaney, 1 conversion to Pappenhausen. First thing, interesting fucking injury to Pappenhausen.
Oh.
Haven't seen this. I haven't seen that happen before. But I mean, like knee on knee, fucking space docking at high velocity.
I'm sure I've seen knee.
Tedesco did his.
Yeah, but the kind of like not in that
not exactly
way, with
that.
one guy sort of Superman sort of trampling the other guy. You know what I mean? Like, but obviously, like contact or impact injuries happen with knees.
The report I heard was that it shattered. Like it's not fractured. It's like powder inside his fucking leg.
What the fuck? How did he come back from that?
Or crumbs, if you will.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's gone. So he's confirmed gone for the year.
Yeah.
I think he was pretty much straight to the hospital and looking at surgery. Like today or even last night.
Fuck.
You look at that though.
That fucked.
And the thing with Teddy, right? Or the guys that have those reoccurring tendon issues or fast twitch muscle issues. You look at them and you're like, okay, well, fuck. I guess with some, conditioning or strength, or you look at what Latrell's been doing over in the States, and fucking reminder, watch that documentary if you haven't. It is fucking unbelievable. But just how the fuck do you avoid that? Like, he's just a poor, unlucky kid.
Which is exactly the point that Tedesco was in at that point of his career as he was coming through. Because he had the ACL in his debut, and then he come back.
But that's what I'm saying. Though all of those like tendon stuff. That's like that sort of goes to, well, hang on, you're doing more than your body can handle.
Yeah.
There's a reason that tendons snap. It's because they've got too much fucking load on them. They're doing too much.
Yep, and then you got the talking and whatever with the tags locked into the grass. And,
that's it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Pappenhausen's just fucking unlucky.
The thing, that's right. He's running the gamut of injuries too, because not only is he suffering unlucky ones like Turbo gets, but he's also got like the HIA related shit as well, where he's slow to come back from them. So yeah, dudes. Yeah, look, and the way he's been playing the last 2 seasons. I mean, you want to see him in the game,
100%.
Yeah, definitely. As long as possible.
Yep.
But fuck, man,
that's a tough one. That that has the potential to impact his speed and agility, depending on how successful the surgery is and how he comes back after rehab, etc. Sometimes you see players come back and then they're not the same, and from injuries like that.
Yep.
Yeah. Look, I guess with him, I think he's been lucky enough to be in that Storm system where you would say that a lot of what his value is as a player, he's learned in terms of smarts. Like, they've got good fullbacks down there to learn from, and his positioning's great. His involvement in helping that defensive line's great. Fuck.
But if you looked at Pappenhausen's game,
Yep.
what do you say his greatest strength is? His speed and explosiveness, right? At this stage of his career.
Yeah. Yep.
If that's impacted,
Oh, yeah, 100%.
you know, that's,
Yeah, exactly. Joe. Storm's 3 losses in a row after playing all but one game at the Korean Housewife this season is as good content as Tiger Town. Even with Klein wearing a purple jersey under his shirt, the cheating cunts couldn't pull it off. You'd love to see it. There you go.
Those Raiders, like they were fucking. It was like remember that first, like I think it was the first set. Even Storm were just straight through them. They didn't quite have the numbers to back up. To score the try, but like Pappy was straight through them down the left on the first set or second set.
Yeah,
and you thought, oh, here we fucking go. This is like going to be a carve up.
Yeah,
but man, the Raiders, they got their shit together and they fucking they were staunch in defense. And that try that Schiller scored, the one with where he ran out and jumped back in, and like that shit was. There's some amazing finishing going on.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
And, it gets better and better.
I think, Canberra have turned things around nicely and are well and truly in the mix for the top 8, which is not something that was a sure thing earlier this year, given some of the performances they were putting together, because there were games where teams were starting to carve them up from the second set and it got fucking worse as the game went on. Or they'd put in 40 minutes and then fall apart again. The infamous faders that reared their head earlier in the season, but they've turned things around and they're playing some good footy. And there's some guys that are having a real dig for Canberra and not just their big names. Like there's guys like fucking Schiller who's only played a handful of games. Sebastian Chris as well. He's a bit unheralded for the Raiders and. I don't mind what the Raiders are doing at the moment.
Yeah, 100%. But Nate, to your point about finishes, would you say that some of these finishes are the best you've ever seen?
Yes.
Would you say these finishes are good enough that a Dragons fan would pay to eat them?
I would say that a Dragons fan would pay top dollar at an hourly rate, no less, to fucking like treat it like it was a sizzler.
I love it. John said, how gutsy were the Raiders today? No fading, just grit and never give up footy. My favourite moment. Oh, we've lost him.
Oh, Glennie's just done a gutho.
And by that we mean he's in the corner of his room doing the Gutherino.
Yeah, while throwing up.
My favourite moment was Savage's try-saving tackle. That was fucking great. Oh, hang on.
He's coming back. He's all right. A little bit red.
Oh, fuck.
What's happening with your shirt, Glennie?
It's just the Avengers, mate.
It looks like one of those fucking half Broncos, half Cowboys jerseys people sew together.
No, oh, fuck. I'm back. I'm good.
Jack. He said, Jack White not kicking it into row 7 and trying to end seasons. What more could you ask for? Schiller is a new favourite, but he's been hurt in 2 out of 4 games he's played. It's a little worrying. That was fucked as well. Like to do it scoring a try, you're like, oh, okay, that's fucking gutsy, but yeah, that's fucking rough. Poor cunt.
Yeah.
Raiders look together. Like legit look as if they're in sync with each other, which is good for them going into the end of the season. Next game.
The Rabbitohs 36 defeated the Bulldogs 28 at Accor Stadium. The Rabbits 36 came through a hat-trick to Alex Johnston again. Ilias, Mitchell, Walker, Totola tries. Latrell Mitchell 4 of 7 conversions. The Doggies 28 came through tries to Burns, Casey, Stimson, Avarillo and Vaughan with 4 or 5 conversions to Birdo.
They leaked 28 points to the Dogs, but as far as the Rabbitohs are concerned, this will be all about Latrell's moment and the warning signal that it puts out for the competition. I think there's not too many people in and around the NRL and certainly fans that haven't been interested to see how he was going to come back, and that was one of those plays where it was everything, it was the best of him, and he's got his swagger and very, very dangerous, and see us look a far better team now that he's back in the side and they're starting to hum along. So, still too many points to leak if they're serious about going deep into the finals. But that's the biggest takeaway from me, is that's yeah. He's had a game back and then comes back with that. So.
Yeah, I want to say that when the game was there to be won, they had it well under control, and there was a little bit of junk time about it.
Sure.
With some of the Bulldogs' points. But did you hear what Latrell said afterwards as well? He's talking about the bloke that was in number 3 at Origin. He did a good job and everything, but like that jersey's fucking mine, and I'm taking it back next year. So. Yeah. Things you love to hear, because it means that maybe Bird will shift over to the other side, or Tommy will be back by then.
Yeah.
And look, here's the thing. What I guess impressed me most about Latrell that night was when he put that shot on the Fox, and Fox went down because he hit him high, right? He hit him high. The first thing Latrell did was he walked over. He did the old, I'll grab his jersey and I'll lift him up, as in fucking get up, you faker, and dropped him again. Wasn't high off the ground, but it was enough to be a bit of a dick move, and then he's walked off. But then he's had the presence of mind to go, nah, turn around, come back to the guy and legitimately go, oh, nah, mate, are you okay? Like, old Latrell would have been off fucking laughing with his mates about how he fucking put that guy down.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mature Latrell.
Maturity is a process, and I think there's another few steps in the evolution.
But in that fucking moment, to be able to do it in the moment, not even to go after the game, they probably want a good look, and I probably should have done more. Especially when they've shared so much personal time in terms of, if you remember Shotgun Gate?
Yeah.
That was Fox and Latrell together.
Yep.
But yeah, he's absolutely fucking dangerous. I think they won in spite of Cody Walker.
Although there was that moment there where we were, I don't know if we were texting or we were in the group chat or whatever, where it looked like Cody had that hit that point where he lost his shit, and you had guys like Flano Jr. fucking arcing up and sort of handbags and everything under the post, and then it could have gone either way. But it was funny, like when the Dogs did well to stick with them for as long as they did, but then the second they went behind, the Rabbits went behind, they instantly struck back, got the lead, and then just went on. It was like a wake up call to them, sort of thing.
Yeah,
and I think Walker actually, like he switched on at that point and was fairly instrumental, as well as Latrell, in actually getting them back over and running over the top at the end with 3 tries.
Fantastic.
So like he came to that point where he was like, you could see him losing his shit, and it kind of goes too, because there's some Cody Walker games where he's like the alpha pest, and that's when he's on.
Yep.
And then there's some games where he just where someone else gets under his skin and he just loses his shit, and he kind of hit that part there where it was about like 22 all or whatever, or close to it, and or when the Bulldogs got the try to go 26-28, and then he was just on the edge, like could have gone either way, and I think he actually chose the path of actually keep his head and win the game.
Yeah, that's it. Thomas, he said AJ is the best try-scoring machine we've ever had since God's own son Merritt. And for all you naysayers, name one time you got the spoon and still had a player top the comp on tries scored like Merritt did.
Can't relate. Never got the spoon.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm not sure that guy knew what he was setting you up for.
It's a weird flex. It's a weird flex.
Yeah. Yeah, our fucking.
Are we? But hey, we've never naysayed
Merritt?
AJ though?
No, I think that's some projecting.
Yeah, we love that fucking guy.
That's it.
Cody Walker's the only guy we regularly take shits on in the Rabbits at the moment, I think, isn't it?
Oh, we don't.
Pretty much.
No.
I'll tell you, I'll take a shit on someone. No, you want to open the door? Fucking Totola, when he scored that try, they needed that try to win to get in front, and he fucking forward runs onto the ball like 2 meters to the left of the uprights, and instead of fucking just diving over and scoring, he runs it all the way almost to the dead ball line to fall over and score. I'm like,
that's it.
And you can see with his arm out, like the non-ball carrying arm out. I'm like, this guy is fucking put his fingers over the dead ball. Fuck this try.
Yeah.
Oh God, just dive.
I know. I was worried. Like, was it his leg that swung around?
There was something swinging around, like his non-ball carrying arm or his leg. Yeah. Oh my! It was way too close for comfort.
That's it. Josh said Latrell is an absolute beast and may be the most natural footy player in the game right now. That fucking individual try he scored.
Yeah.
That was, oh fuck me, that's a bit scary. Anthony said, "What a messy game. Too many mistakes from the Rabbits, but glad the Bunnies got up in the end." David, definitely some improvements in the Doggies. Might have lost, but I come away happy with where we're heading. Some cracking tries and good defence in there to the last 10 minutes when we fell apart. Jason said we played really well, kept up with South for the first 70. Unfortunately, in the last 10, we let in 3 tries, which cost us an unlikely victory. One of those could have been types of games, and that's us, boys.
All right. One thing I haven't looked in for a while. I haven't looked at tipping for a little while. So I'll tell you what, just bear with me while I open that up. I've actually forgot to put my tips in for the last 2 weeks. Still doing okay though, because you're getting the away teams. But this was an easy round too. Should have put him in and got the hundo. But all right, let's see. Competitions, TWiL Tipping Championship 2022, and at the top in solo possession of the top spot. In fact, Mitch Rich, followed by Barrett's Belmore, Craig C. Cross, Kiwi Villa, Sad Bronco, is there any other kind? Alpha Ben RL, Reynolds Raging Rowana, Strive Possum Agency, Cows to Win 22, and our mate Ben Dunn in 10th position.
Yeah.
With a shit. Yeah, so there you go, fellas.
Yeah, good.
And good job, everyone. Keep up the good work. Don't be like me. Remember to put your tips in. And that is it for episode, 479. Thanks for listening, as always. And if you want to support the show, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TWiL Nation. Drop us reviews on iTunes and all the podcasting apps that allow you to do so. What else? Tell a friend. Get them in the group. TWiL Nation. #TWiL Nation on Facebook. What else, fellas? Got anything else you want to add?
No.
That's it.
This one?
I'm
Very impressive for you to be recording a podcast and putting hilarious memes in the Facebook group.
I had to drop it up there because just so people knew the meme I was referring to when I was saying it earlier.
Delightful.
But that's what went through my head when you started talking about Brooksy and and why would anyone scapegoat him? Like, hang on a minute. I remember fucking editing that episode fucking a week ago. Not even a week ago.
You got me all wrong, Nathan.
Yeah. It's been a while since you brought that one out. But yeah, that is as untrue today as it was then. All right, so on that note, folks, thanks for listening, and we will be back in your ear holes on Wednesday.
We will be.
Say good night, Glennie.
Fuck you, Nathan. Good night, everyone else.